All right. So we do have some things that we'd love to share with you. We have some great team members joining us today to be able to share those information. So we've got some new info, updates, and resources on accessibility and performance improvements, flexible math support, continued work on translation. We have an exciting coming soon, Google Docs importer, which we're excited to share. Upcoming training webinars we've got. We're excited to introduce Pug, which we'll get some more information about shortly. And then just letting you know where we're going to be in the next month or so over May and June. And then we'll get some feedback from all of you. We'll get started here just talking a little bit about some performance improvements. So I will pass that on to my colleague.
So yes, these days, with AI bots everywhere, our networks have been under stress, than like significantly more stress than usual. So that's why we noticed that several performance issues across our platform. So especially with the LTI connector, 1 week ago, we proactively addressed a number of those issues. And then you should already notice like improvements in terms of like performance and page loads. And we will continue improving like page loads and performance. And as you can see here in this chart, after we deliver kind of like the fixes, our like computer usage dropped a lot. So now that means more resources to serve page loads and to serve like content more faster. So, and we will be continue working on that proactively to ensure that the platform is better for you.
Thanks, Oz.
This is something that not every network manager knows about, but some of you did know about it, and we made a change that's has affected those of you who knew about it. So when you invite new users to your network, those invitations are pending until they're accepted. And that means some users never accept the invitation and they just hangs out there and hangs out there and hangs out there. And you're like, oh, did you check your email? And they said, what is an email? Or what is a username? What's a password? And so it's helpful to have tools that can help you see the pending invites and either delete it to free up the email address so you can send it again, or to manually approve it for them. Previously, there was a way that you could do this yourself as a network manager, but it was not visible from the network menu. You had to know the URL directly. If you're one of the few people that knew the URL directly, it was wp admin network users.php question mark page equals act_keys. I'm sure all of you remembered that. We're using that on a daily. Well, we've replaced the tool that does that management in the background. This tool was fine, but it hadn't been updated in many years, and we were no longer able to manage it effectively. And so we've replaced it with a similar but slightly better tool. And as a result, that URL has changed. We've updated our network manager guide to make that a bit clearer. But if you're one of those people that used to go to this old URL and found that it doesn't exist anymore, it doesn't exist anymore. Instead, it's this URL. If you were, yeah, thank you, Lauren, and we're sorry. We probably could have notified about that better. We didn't, but here we are notifying you. If you visit that URL, what you'll see is this is a sample invitation for this Steals Fake person. And if you hover over the username, you'd see the options. You could resend the activation email, you could just manually activate, or you could delete the invitation. And that helps you manage pending invites. There's also a bulk activity option. So if you were to click the check mark next to their name, you'd be able to do the bulk action for many users at the same time. We think this is a better experience if you know where the URL is, and we're hoping in the future to make this more prominent or visible from the network manager menu under the users tab. But for now, it's secret URL, but it'll work great if you know where it's the secret, I guess. Yes. So Linda asked a question. Can you find this from the regular users list? Or do you need to have the URL right now, Linda? It's only know the URL. We'd like to add it in the users list menu, and that will be a future change, I think. The URL will be different based on your network, but it will be your full network URL, and we'll put it in the chat for sure. It's also listed in our guide, and we'll find the guide chapter that describes that. Any other questions about that? I know that may have been a bit confusing. We're talking about hidden URLs. Probably not the thing you're expecting to hear about today. Okay, great. We'll put some stuff in the chat and we'll move on, Amanda.
Thanks.
We've been working on better handling of language attributes in PDF exports. That means that more accessibility on our PDFs. Also, we've been working on updating translations and improving our workflows to have a lot of translations in everywhere. So the platform is ready to be 100% translated. So that's a very good achievement. Also, you will notice that we've been working on accessibility and UI refinements across the platform. So those are small issues, but you will notice if you use like voice readers or other kind of like accessibility tools. And also now we support single dollar sign delimiters on Majax. So you will be able to use that feature, but it's an opt-in feature. You need to enable that on your Majax settings on your book. But now you will be able to write like LaTeX and Majax equations with a single dollar.
Thank you. Any questions on those specific things? We do have couple of folks on the call who have been very active in the translation and accessibility refinements. So if you have any questions about that, I'll just take a pause for a second.
So I do know that we have had trouble specifically with Khmer in our PDF exports, rendering incorrectly. Is that the problem that that first bullet point is addressing?
Sorry, is that question from Linda?
Yeah.
Ah,
Linda, because I think I know the issue you were referring to. This is still unresolved. The one you're referring to, this is a different one. This is just adding language attributes. I know you've had issues with Khmer. We are struggling to resolve this issue because we don't have anyone who understands Khmer enough to be able to validate. So we will need to, but happy to exchange with you on this if we can find a way to solve that issue that's preventing us from going further in this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
the issue that we were working on with language attributes is when you have a document that has multiple languages in them, it's helpful to have each block of text have a tag that indicates what language the HTML is written in, because then it will announce it differently based on the assistive technology. So if a paragraph's written in English and the document tag says language in English, and then you have a paragraph that's written in French, that paragraph should have a language tag that says the language is French. And not only should the HTML be marked up, but the PDF should also include those attributes in the markup because that makes that digital PDF more accessible when the language is properly indicated. And so that's what the change or the improvement that we worked on here. I do think, Amanda, it might be worth just, if it's okay, showing that last one, the math jacks. So
yeah, actually, sorry, Steele, there is a question about language attributes before you switch to that
great.
one. So Ryan's just asking, is it similar to specifying the language in spans of text?
Yes, very similar. So instead of actually writing a tag that says English, usually the HTML attribute would have a little property that says lang equals whatever, but it's part of the HTML markup, and then it should be inherited by any of the export formats that Pressbooks produces from the HTML markup.
Okay, and then Lauren asked if we could say more about the translation workflows. Mitch, would you like to respond to that?
Sure, I can give like a quick update. So by translation workflows, we mean that the platform exists in English as original language, but we also have different languages available and make them available, the platform in different languages. And we have currently moved to a different tool, which Oz would be better placed to talk about, which is called Crowdin, that helps us to manage the translations better and also start introducing a review process for officially supported languages of open source content and also some of the closed source content. So we'll be able to offer more translations in the future going forward and also have a better updated infrastructure and workflows for volunteer contributors to some of the translations. And one thing I just also want to know, like part of this process is also developing an inclusive language policy on how we translate certain terms in specifically also in highly gendered languages. So that's all part of that, and it's an ongoing work. But like the big part that has been worked on was the infrastructure change, and that we now have better workflows for on the technical side of this.
Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing so Steele can show a little bit of the math jacks. I appreciate.
This is a really cool feature that Oz built and developed for us, but I'll just demonstrate what it looks like for users on the end. So if you are using our built-in LaTeX MathJax tool, what happens is this will describe to you all of the different delimiters that you can use in a document to automatically make beautiful, accessible math. Many authors are used to working in LaTeX if they come from the STEM disciplines. And the delimiters they usually use for inline math is slash parenthesis. And if they want it to be display math, they use slash square bracket. We also support this WordPress shortcode, and we support something called double dollar signs. So double dollar sign to stop, start, double dollar sign to stop. We support ASCII math if people are using ASCII math, and we also support MathML. But a lot of people that are coming from the STEM disciplines are like, look, I write documents in LaTeX in my sleep. This is what I do. And many people in their local LaTeX environment say, writing $2 signs is just too much. I'm sorry, it's extra typing. I prefer to write a single dollar sign. Well, if you can configure your LaTeX environment, that's fine. People do that. But if you're working in Pressbooks, we don't know whether you're trying to type $5 or whether you're a power math user. And so previously, we did not treat a dollar sign as a LaTeX delimiter because it had another meaning. This new setting says you're a power math user, you come into settings, MathJax, you click this button, and now any dollar sign will be treated as a math delimiter. So you could start an expression with a dollar sign and end it with a dollar sign. And then if you wanted to actually type a literal dollar sign, you would have to use slash dollar sign. For people that are advanced math users, they're like, yes, finally, we don't have to type double dollar sign. That's too much typing, like they're used to doing it one way. But if you're not a power user, you'll still be able to leave this setting off by default and just type dollar signs to mean dollar sign. So there's a bit of instructions that Oz gave for how people can use this. But if you had some power math users that were grumpy because they couldn't use single dollar sign delimiters like they could in LaTeX, well, guess what? They can now in Pressbooks. And that's kind of worth showing and explaining because it is a little atypical, but if you know, I guess is probably what I would say about the single dollar sign.
We're getting a thumbs up from Scott, so clearly he knows.
Oh, we got one nerd out there that approves. Good.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen and get into slideshow mode here. So we have some coming soon features. We've got, in particular, improved accessibilities of PDF with Prince 16's improved tagged PDF structure, new accessibility list tags, also improved heading role maps, and then the Google Docs importer. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into the Google Docs importer, but before we do, does anyone have questions regarding the first three or comments from our team if there's anything extra that you'd like to add there?
Yeah, I would say like the three first items are related to mostly PDF accessibility. Currently, we are using a tool that is called Prince 15, and that tool doesn't have a good support for accessibility tags. So the Prince 16 will improve a lot that. So we are currently testing and improving the current PDF mapping with Prince 16, and it will give us a lot of new cool features about accessibility.
Thank you. Steele, yeah.
Yeah, just one other thing to add, because we hear questions about this from time to time. When you generate PDFs in Pressbooks, there's two different options. There's digital PDF and there's print PDF, and there's big differences between the two formats. Print PDF is not optimized for accessibility because its design purpose is to be sent to a print shop and printed. So those print PDFs do not have digital accessibility features and never will. They use a format of PDF that's designed for printing. The digital PDFs are different. Those are designed to be read digitally on a screen. And so if you're trying to do an accessibility audit and see whether your PDFs are accessible, please use the digital PDF export, and that's the format that should be shared and circulated. The other thing that we often notice and hear from time to time is many people do generate the digital PDFs, then they open them in Adobe and they run a built-in Adobe accessibility scanner tool. That Adobe accessibility scanner tool is very good, but it is not 100% accurate. So sometimes it will miss things, and other times it will declare things as accessibility problems, which it is in fact mistaken about, we think. And so we'd love to receive those reports and we'll try to work with them. Just know when you're using an automated tool, it may not always produce 100% reliable results, but it's often better than just the random guessing that we do out there. So that's the two notes that I wanted to share. I think Mitch has really knows a lot more about this than most humans and may want to add more or can be a good resource to talk to when you talk to our support team.
So I'm just going to let you know what's going to be imported when we have the Google Docs importer. I'm then going to pass it to Oz, who we have a little demo video we'll show you, and Oz will narrate this. But when you have a Google Docs importer, what would actually be imported from that, from your Google Docs, are the headings. So anything from H1 to H6. And then those, if it's an H1, it actually splits it into separate chapters. Also included would be the formatting, so bold, italic, and underline. Also your links, a bulleted or numbered list, which actually also includes the nested lists, which is great. Inline images, and that also includes any alt text that you've already put in your Google Doc and metadata related to that. Simple tables, and then footnotes. So I'm going to pass it over to Oz.
So yeah, this is a sneak peek of what's coming. So imagine you have this beautiful Google Doc. So it has titles, tables, footnotes, images, a lot of stuff that you usually put on this kind of like Google Docs documents. So you have images, you have a lot of things there. So probably you want to import that in Pressbooks to being able to produce a beautiful book. So now you can see here in Pressbooks, you'll have a new option that's Google Docs, and it will ask you for a Google Docs URL. So as you can see here, you can notice that my Google account is connected. I already connected, but you will be able to connect with your Google account to get like the right permissions to fetch the document. So now you paste your URL, you click on begin import, and you will notice like all of your chapters will be there. So we are treating all of the titles as like probably a chapter. So then that way you can select all of the things that you want to import. So in this case, I'm going to try to select all of them. So let's wait. It's importing the content. And that's it. You will see like all of the chapters on the Google Doc were imported. So let's see how it looks. So there you go. You have your beautiful images there, the chapter titles, objectives, footnotes. So everything was like ported successfully. And one important thing to notice is like the HTML, it's a beautiful HTML, clean up HTML. It's not like this kind of like Word garbage that you usually cut and paste, and it produces a very bad like HTML. So this is clean HTML, so you will be able to style this as you want. You can see like all of the images were imported as expected. So that was kind of like the end of this video.
Thank you, Oz. I think that's going to be our new tagline for the Google Doc importer. It's beautiful, not garbage. Okay, before I'd love to see if there's any questions or comments from folks. Anything you're curious about? Shauna.
I just have a quick question because I know when we've tried to do this in the past, when we were able to get the images in, they were in the media library, they were in the page, but we couldn't use like the WYSIG editor to edit the images. So like for the folks that were working that maybe weren't, used to HTML, they were having a really hard time. Like if we clicked on the image and tried to edit it when we did it through this tool, like not this tool, but like importing it, it seemed to be disconnected from the media library, but the file name was exactly the same. Did you find this as well?
No, with this solution,
Okay.
the image is gonna be imported into the media library of that book. So it will be connected into the right media library for that book, and
Yeah.
you will be able to edit the image and do anything like as usual.
Okay, great.
Like if
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what we were having trouble with. We couldn't
Yeah,
like go back.
they weren't properly associated sometimes with the Google Doc or the old Word import.
Okay.
And yeah, it was painful. You're right.
Okay. Thank you.
This will be beautiful, not garbage, Oz says. And I believe him. Yeah.
I'm excited to try it.
Yes.
Cheryl's saying, when is the Google Docs importer coming? That's a great question. We aren't ready to fully release it just yet because we still need to do some testing and make sure that it's properly set up so that when you actually use it, it will work, and we're not concerned about that. So I would anticipate in the next 2 to 3 months, we'll show it again and be releasing it. But for the meantime, we wanted to show you what's being worked on and how if you had any feedback or things that could help us improve it. Scott does have a question. Can we remove bleaching when switching between HTML and WYSIWYG?
Yeah, Scott, could you clarify what you mean by that and what you're hoping for, the outcome?
Yeah, so for a lot of the books, I start with HTML source code, and then I paste in the code editor, and things look fine. And if I switch from the code editor to the view editor, then there's a number of HTML bleaching operations that are performed. So like removing paragraph tags and a lot of other cleanup that happens on the back end. And then so if I do that, then the books with custom HTML don't render as expected anymore.
Moving between text and visual editor sometimes causes loss, data
Yep.
loss. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've seen that or heard reports of that. Probably if there's specific things that you're losing and they haven't already been reported, the step would be to report on a previous report and help us file them as bugs. Some of what's happening is just what we get when we get WordPress's tools, and WordPress does a bunch of sanitization things. Some of them include this thing called AutoP that's beloved and hated and famous in the Pressbooks or the WordPress community, and we're sort of captive to that for now. There might be some creative ways around it. Please just tell us the most annoying things that you're losing, send them to premium support, and we'll try to categorize them and give you honest answers about what we can do.
All right. Well, I know that as a former user of Pressbooks, I am very excited about the Google Docs importer. So I appreciate the team working on this and adding this to our core platform. Okay, so one thing we do want to still let you know, if you have interest or know of folks at your institutions who are developing micro credentials, we are looking at building a new platform on micro credentials, short form courses in particular, and we already have a prototype project in the works with the Maricopa Community College District. If you are interested in discussing what this would look like or have folks at your institution who are in the workforce development area or in micro-credential development and are interested in seeing where we're at so far, I would love to have the opportunity to chat with them and get some feedback and learn how we can improve our new platform and what it would be. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. Webinars, events, and conferences. So this is our cute little mascot for the Pressbooks users group, and I will pass it to Steele because this is his little mascot, and I don't want to take over Deebu's fame.
I've just changed my background for the first time in history. I think I did it right, as everybody's seeing a pug behind me, an adorable pug. This is the official man. This is Deepu. He's the mascot. We're starting a new regular meeting schedule. It's called the Pressbooks User
Deepu.
Group.
Deepu's
And
huge.
yeah, Deepu's pretty big. I mean, he's a pug. He's not big in real life, but if you want to see that Deepu is real, the only way you'll ever know if Deepu is real is to come in my house, which is quite a long distance, or to come to Pressbooks User Group. It's the only Pressbooks meeting that Deepu attends. So what we're doing is it's a user group. It's a virtual community of practice that's intended for people who manage Pressbooks networks. So if you're a network manager, an institutional manager, we're going to do this, and I think we're going to probably do it bi-monthly. We're going to alternate, and Amanda will announce that more. But the first one's coming up this coming Tuesday, May 5th. It'll be at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. It'll happen on Zoom, and we're going to focus on onboarding and supporting new users for the first meeting. The way it's going to work is Jen and I will welcome you and we'll give a little introduction. And then we'll have two featured speakers, probably at each one. There'll be network managers who will just give an informal chat or presentation about tips or tricks or things that they do. And then after about 15 minutes, it's just going to be open forum conversation. Please come with ideas. Please come with questions. Please come with needs, questions, concerns. It's meant to be a space of mutual aid and collaboration. We'll mainly be there as facilitators and listeners. It's not a training, it's a conversation for people that are using Pressbooks that have problems or needs. And so what we'll also talk about would be, hey, what other topics do we want to put on the agenda? We have a bunch of ideas that people have already suggested. We'll discuss some of those and then we'll vote on what we want to talk about for the next meeting, which would happen probably 2 months' time after that. So please come, it'll be a good time. Jan will be there, Deebu will be there, and I'll be there. And hopefully many of you.
Thanks. Okay, so we wanted to just throw out this, what Steele sort of alluded to is that we are looking at scaling back the frequency of our monthly product updates because of the introduction of the Pressbooks users group. And so what we are doing is moving from every month to every other month, really just to respect everyone's time. We know that capacity is an issue, and obviously trying to find time is always a challenge. So one of the things is that one of the main goals of our product update agenda has really also always been our community roundtable and sharing, which also has evolved into our Pressbooks users group. So while we're still going to talk about that, just know that that's also the place for that to happen as well. And meetings will occur on the third Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern. And so I'll put that information into the Pressbooks forum so you have that information. But just make sure that that's on hold for you all. Okay, so we also have some free webinars coming up that you or your institutional users might be interested in attending. May 14th, we've got the Getting Started with Pressbooks. May 21st, we have our Engaging Learning Materials with Pressbooks. And lastly, on May 26th, it'll be about preparing your book for publication and distribution. So you're welcome to ask people to attend and join. Love to see you there too. And yeah, that's what's happening in May. The other thing too is we have a couple of upcoming conferences and events. So I don't know if folks are joining the Florida OER Summit, but we are actually going to be presenting the day 2 keynote at the virtual OER Summit on Thursday, May 21st at 9:15. The topic is Crystal Ball's Welcome, Divining Where OER Fits in the Future of Learning Materials. And that's going to be a panel with myself, Mike Mills, Kevin Corcoran, Brittany Dueck, and Zach Klebaugh. So really excited about that, and hopefully some of you are also attending. Steele is going to be at the Library Publishing Forum. If any of you are also going to be there, that is June 17th and 18th. And we're actually presenting 3 different sessions. One is Putting Open Values to Work, Collaborations Between Library Publishers and Open Infrastructures to Sustain Open Workflows in OEA, Book and OER Publishing. We really love our long titles, as you
That
can
was
see.
their title. We didn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a collaboration with a few folks, Toby Steiner, Harrison Infuku, Vincent Van Gerven Oy, or we, and Andy Byers and Steele. So we're looking forward to that one. And Steele, after I introduce them all, if you want to say more about each one,
Oh, sure.
go for it. The second one is with Lauren Ray, who's in the house right here, Kate Carter, Pamela
Also in the
Harrington.
house.
Pamela's here too?
Sorry, Kate is.
Oh, Kate. Hi, Kate. And this one is From Growing Pains to Sustainability, Proven Strategies for Maturing Library and OER Publishing Programs. That one will be Thursday, June 18th at 9:45. And then lastly, this one is Finding Your Place in Open Source Software, a hands-on workshop for first-time contributors. That one will be in the afternoon of June 18th. And that one will be with Steele, Zach Davis, Adam Hyde, and Alec Smacker.
Yeah, so I think this will be a lot of fun. There's also a one-day workshop the day before that I'll be in there for. I can't remember the name of that one, but I'll be in Seattle for a week in June if anybody's there and wants to meet up. I think these are going to be great panels. Thanks panelists for agreeing to be on them with us. The first one is going to be talking about a partnership we're working on with a company or an organization called Tote. It's spelled THOTH, and they do open metadata. We'll have more to share soon, but if you want a preview of what we're working on, you can come or watch that session or see our notes there. The open source contributors one, that's going to be with Pressbooks, Manifold, Ketty, or I don't know whether the Cocoa Foundation, and then the Public Knowledge Project. All four of us do work in the open publishing space, and we really just want to encourage library professionals to be involved in contributing code or contributing non-code to open source projects. Projects are better when they have more contributors, so that's the goal. This third one's, the middle one's more of the classic, like how to grow an OER publishing program. And it's going to be friends and people that are using Pressbooks talking about what they've done and how they've been able to achieve success. That's University of Washington, University of Houston, and then the Alamo Colleges District. So a range of different types of institutions.
Ryan, I gotta tell you, it's been a learning journey on how to say the name tote. For the longest time, we were calling it Toth until Steele went to a conference and they were handing out tote bags. So it was definitely a learning experience for all of us.
That was the most concrete, great way to help me understand how to pronounce it. They were literally handing out, it said THOTH bag on it. It was a tote bag. And you're like, ah, got it. Finally. It's not a thoth bag, it's a tote bag.
Yeah. So we have about 10 minutes and we would love to hear from you. Sort of what projects are you working on that you want to share with us? Anything that you're interested in or something that's getting you excited about the work you're working on right now and what's keeping you busy?
Can I
Yes.
just ask about the Pressbooks user group, if that's going to be a monthly meeting? Sorry, I realized I didn't pick up on that.
Initially, we were planning to make it monthly, but I think what we're going to do is alternate. We'll do bi-monthly for both this meeting that you're in right now and the Pressbooks user group. But it's provisional. Like, if there's so much demand for Pressbooks user group and people are like, look, we need to meet every month, then we could change it. But I think we're planning to do every other month would be one meeting and the other. Just, I don't think people are that hungry for meetings that they want to come see us every month, but we'll see.
Right, thanks.
I saw your questions. Some of it's very useful information, but I'm not as familiar with Pressbooks as I would like to be, but I hope to be. So my name is Tracy Romano. I work for hey, Steele, how are you? He visited with me earlier. He was very helpful. Anyway, I'm at the system level in Oklahoma. So I work for the Oklahoma State Regions for Higher Education. My state initiatives and my ears perked up when you said microcredentials. So I handle that at the system level as well as OER for the state. I know a little bit about a lot of things. Maybe that's a good thing. It's Thursday. So if it was Friday, I probably would lose my ability to speak whatsoever. But I'm interested in learning more about Pressbooks and helping our OER librarians that don't have as much expertise, because I lean heavily on Jamie Holmes and Kathy S. Miller in our state, because they are experts. I'd like to bring more people on, but I think it's going to be kind of a slow process. And I wrote your email down to email you about your microcredential project.
Great. I just wrote your email, or I wrote your name down because I thought, well, she mentioned that they're interested in micro-credentials. So anybody that tells me that, I'm like, let's talk.
Okay, perfect.
Also, Tracy, do not worry about it being Thursday. I did send out the wrong link today. So, We all make it here. It
We
happens.
did. We
Yeah.
did. We did.
And if there's, I know, as you said, Steele helped you out, which is great and is always incredibly helpful. And if there's any other way that we can be supportive in terms of helping your state increase capacity or be supportive in conversations about open, we're here.
We got a follow-up meeting set with them and Darren in May, so I think
Oh,
we'll take it
great.
from there.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Is that about the terms of service thing?
No, we already
No.
went ahead and turned that
Sorted.
on.
It's on now, Jamie. We got it done. So
Good deal. Thank you.
Tracy's
Yeah.
very efficient. And
Awesome.
Anna.
Well, thank you. That's not how I feel today. No, we're talking, Jane, we're actually, and sorry everyone, if you're listening to us talk about our Oklahoma business, about some other add-ons to consider
Mhm.
for OER.
Hey, don't apologize about Oklahoma. I went to middle school there. I mean, no apologies for talking about Oklahoma. We're happy to talk about Oklahoma in this meeting. And Darren
Well,
also
thank
just
you.
came on camera. He can wave to you too. Darren's here. This is
Yeah.
who you'll be meeting with in May.
See you next week.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Lauren, I would love to put the spotlight on you for a minute. You mentioned that you created a Pressbooks accessibility FAQ LibGuide. Do you want to share anything about that?
Wanted to share it in case it was useful for other librarians who edit in LibGuides and want to copy or reuse it. It needs to be updated, and then once some of the updates that were shared here are happen, I'll add those here, but it's been a helpful place to point people to. Yeah, and just continuing doing a lot of like user network cleanup and messaging, trying to figure out how to message new book authors about accessibility stuff and other things. So, and I just got off a call with some faculty members who are interested in using Pressbooks or Manifold, which we also have at UW, for publishing some 19th century texts that are being translated into Kazakh. And so we were kind of looking at like examples from the Pressbooks directory of translated texts. And I was kind of thinking like, oh, just I just have like so many like feature request ideas, but just like ways of drilling down to texts and Pressbooks that have he was asking about like having columns side by side with, translated text and original text, and looking at like different ways that Pressbooks authors have done translation within books. And yeah, and just kind of seeing like design wise how people have done that to recommend, one platform over the other. Yeah, that's just like my brain dump of what's going on with me with Pressbooks. Yes, like for poetry.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Also interesting about, so they're translating into the language Kazakh. Is that right?
Yeah, they're doing a Russian to Kazakh and a Russian to English version,
Are they
working with a
envisioning
university in Kazakhstan.
are they envisioning bilingual editions or monolingual editions? Do you know, Lauren?
It sounds like they're still kind of working it out, and it's more of a scholarship kind of project rather than like a teaching and learning resource necessarily. So there's always these interesting conversations. I don't know if other network admins have this where you're sort of like, is this right for Pressbooks or not? But they're working with a university in Kazakhstan who's translating the text from Russian to Kazakh, and then here they're doing Russian to English for the text.
Mhm.
The example that I can think of that's maybe closest to this, there's an interlinear translation in Greek, I think from Greek that Berkeley did. It's a pretty complicated project. There's multiple parts of this, but I'll just send one of them, I think. Oh wait, I got the wrong link. I'll just send the one that I have right here. This is an interlinear translation. It's like a very elaborate project, but this may be helpful as like a proof of concept for what some other people have done. And I'm not sure the degree to which they were doing XML and like this is a pretty elaborate like Greek dictionary interlinear glot. That might be close.
Yeah, and they were mentioning like wanting to have a dictionary component to the book, which I've also, had other projects that have
Mm.
asked about that. So anyway, it just sparked an idea of like when these sort of specific format types come up, like coming up with examples from the directory. The directory is really helpful for that. And I can also reach out to the forum, but thanks for that link. I'll take a look at it.
Okay. Well, thank you all for attending. And again, my apologies for the little Zoom scavenger hunt you all went on, but you made it, which is great. You have successfully completed the challenge. I can give you a badge on showing up. Um, so we will hopefully see some of you at the Pressbooks users group. And also we will put out the information as well about the next product update meeting and having it be the third Thursday of not next month, but the following month. So we'll give you that information as it comes up. And thanks so much for all of your interest, questions, ideas. And I hope you all have a great rest of the week and a good weekend.